Welcome to Pellowe Talk. I'm Dave Pellowe, and joining me today I have good friend and sailor, Dr. Stuart Ballantyne. He is the chairman of Sea Transport, Australia's largest privately owned ship design company. Stuart, thank you for joining me.
Good morning, David. It's a nice pleasure to be here.
It is. Thank you for keeping 2 meters away from me and bringing coffee.
Scotsmen were generous to a fault.
Yeah, what was it? Nowhere near as bad as the Dutch and...
That's correct. Well, people, when I say the Scots are generous, they always laugh. And I say, well, you can laugh, but we're compared to the Dutch, we're generous, and compared to the Kiwis, we're a legend.
I'm half Kiwi, so I can laugh at that. Now, I want to have a chat to you today, or I actually want you to have a chat to the viewers, the audience, about what should a Christian businessman's posture, response, attitude be in these economically challenging times?
Okay. Well, first of all, I have to say that I've been through the mill. I have lost my job, my company, my house, my car, in Paul Keating's recession that we had to have. Mm-hmm. And a couple of good friends of mine suicided at the time. So I have been through some tough times.
Those are tough times.
Tough times.
It's easy to spit it out in 15 seconds, but it's a lot harder to live.
It is tough times. And when you've got 4 boys at school, which they were Christian schools, and a big dog that ate more than the 4 boys, it was a tough, and I was on the dole. But I was riding everywhere. But the thing that actually got me through was my faith. I kept going back into the Word, and I would urge all Christian business guys, whether big or small, is rely on the Word. It keeps saying, be anxious for nothing. Fear not, fear not, fear not. And I've already had calls from some Christian businessmen in week 2 of this lockdown, saying, "Oh, I've got to lay my staff off." I said, "Hang on." Because Channel 7 said this, and Channel 9 said that, and Channel, I said, "This, don't even go there. In the morning when you wake up, you can be either one of two things. One, you can be influenced, or you can be an influencer. I choose to be an influencer, so I don't switch on the news. I don't look at the newspaper. Or if I do look at newspaper, I just want to go to the cartoons, see what Hagar the Horrible is up to."
A good Scotsman?
Yeah, well, he's a Viking, but he's fairly close.
Across the water.
Across the water. And I would say to all Christian businessmen, look, press hard into the Word. Right. And stick with good people. Don't let anything negative come out of your mouth. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. And it's
so true.
Yeah, stick around with good guys, hang around with good guys, fellowship. And okay, you can't fellowship at the moment in person, but you can sure get on Skype with somebody or 2 or 3 mates and boost each other up. And yes, some will lose their jobs, like I lost my job and my house and everything else, only because I was the captain of my little ship at the time, and I trusted the banks, which at the time turned out to be not a wise decision. I don't trust banks anymore, and I don't have any debt, so I'm just living within my means. But for those that are caught with debt, I would say, well, okay, at the moment the government's got some very good, positive stuff. Apply for everything you possibly can at the moment. But in the meantime, you have to keep it's really your attitude and your spirit up. And as I say, don't mix with the wrong people.
Who are the wrong people?
Well, the naysayers and the doomsday merchants, and they're everywhere. I'd say probably 90% are terrible, And I was just getting the coffee this morning, and the 2 young guys that are trying to survive in their coffee shop, I said, "How's it going, guys?" They said, "Oh, yeah, pretty good. It's, steady compared to what the TV's been telling we weren't going to get any customers, but it's actually pretty steady." Wow. I said, "Good on you." I said, "You hang in there." I said, "Don't even think about closing up." Yep. I said, "Because the Australian population are supporting you." Yes. And we're doing the same with a coffee shop below my office, and we're doing takeaway for friends that are trying to survive in little local restaurants. We're doing takeaways. In fact, I'm buying a few meals for family tonight on a takeaway basis. Some of my family members that are in a bit of a poor way, but that's what we should be doing. Yep. That's what we are called to do. As Christians, we're called to stand out and be positive.
Yeah.
That people can see God shining through us and our attitude and everything else.
So much of business and economy comes down to confidence, doesn't it?
Sure.
And so what we say and what we do can so often be, even just in the natural, a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Absolutely. People say to me in the morning, "How are you?" I always answer the same way. "I'm fantastic, but getting better."
I've started copying that. It's the best answer. It's entertaining, and I believe in self-fulfilling prophecies, the power of our speech, the power of our words.
Yes, but you see, get so many people will say, even some of my Christian mates, "Not bad." And I'll say, well, hang on, that's two negative words, not and bad. Why do you even go there? It's an E-O out of Winnie the Pooh. Not bad. So I would encourage all of you guys that are running your own business, guys and ladies that are running your own business, and as Christians, press into the word. We are under a different covenant. We are totally under a different covenant, and we stand on the principles of that covenant and the agreement. And when you reach out, I remember when I was broke, the last $5 I had when I moved to Eagleby, and my collapsed the last time. The last $5, I went to a little church and I put the last $5, and I couldn't go back on the toll road. I had to go back the long way to Eagleby. And I thought, well, Father God, I know you're going to look after me. So it's going to come out sooner or later.
Yeah.
And I never dropped that confession.
Yeah, brilliant.
And the response is another story, but I came out of that fabulously. It wasn't straight away, but it came out of fabulous.
And that's probably a good perspective to have, is even in the natural, this too shall pass.
Yes.
The recession we had to have passed.
Yes.
And you obviously went on to rebuild and restore and grow from strength to strength, from blessing to blessing.
That's correct. And the other thing I did is during the time that I was idle, I was designing ships that I thought would be good for the market, so that when we did come out of that recession that we had to have, I was prepared to hit the ground running. And I had one apprentice with me, and a young Christian guy, Nathan Archer. And I kept him on a miserable wage, and we soldiered through. And of course, it did take off. And yes, we did hit the deck running. And I would say that if you're in manufacturing, for instance, a Christian guy in manufacturing, keep producing as much as you can, as you possibly can at the moment. The government's got some good handouts. They want people to be employed. Make sure you get in the queue and get that money. But and that way, when things pass, as you say, you hit the deck running. It's fantastic. Be positive. Be bold.
Yeah, fantastic. I want to add my encouragement to Stuart's. While there's a lot of things we're talking about, things we need to bear in mind, and I'm saying even in the natural, let's not be limited to the natural. The Bible says we walk by faith, not by sight. You don't have to be limited in your decision-making faculties at the moment. You should be wise, you should be prudent, but you shouldn't be limited to what you see in the natural. And the perfect example we see of this is when the 12 spies were sent into Canaan, into enemy territory, and they all came back agreeing on the facts. Nobody was denying the realities that they were facing. They all agreed that the land was filled with giants, that the cities were walled, and that the land was overflowing with milk and honey, that the grapes were large, the harvest was huge, that it was awesome. But 10 of them had a very, very negative, fear-filled confession, a fear-filled report on what would happen. And 2 of them had a faith-filled report of how easy this was for God, despite the difficult facts that they agreed on. There was no denial of reality. And those people, every single one of those 12 people got what they believed for. So respond in faith, respond that the Lord is able right now, and lead, as Stuart has so wisely said. We're not going to be the followers, we're going to be the leaders in this economy and this culture and in these difficult times. Sowing generosity, not fear. Sow
generosity, and remember that old Scottish saying, only the dead fish go with the flow.
Love it. That's a great note to finish on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.